What is up, YouTube? This is Cody on the Real Sports Talk, bringing you the post-race video for the Pocono 400. Joey Logano gets the second Sprint Cup Series win of his career. His first full race, the one previously at New Hampshire in 2009, was a rain-shortened win, and he did it in kind of an un-Joey-like fashion, but we've seen an aggressive Joey coming out the last few weeks in the Nationwide Series. He's won 3 of the last 4 races in that series. He's been winning a lot there, so we know he has the talent and is a good race car driver. Just a matter of actually picking up these victories. He bumped Mark Martin out of the way after Martin got out in front of him. Martin was great on restarts toward the end of the race. He jumped out in front of Logano a couple times, even though he was starting in second. He made that outside line work, something that really didn't happen a lot of the race. A lot of the guys were kind of afraid to run that outside line, and it didn't really develop as they were hoping as the race went on. But they ended up using it in the end because obviously they needed the spots and they're willing to take some risks. Also, this is the first time that the pole winner has gone to victory lane since New Hampshire in July, which was Ryan Newman, taking both the win and the pole in that race. So, little fact for you there. A big factor in this race was pit road speeding, and it could have something to do with the restructuring of the track or whatever, but 16 drivers at the halfway point had been nabbed, some of them even multiple times. Jimmie Johnson was one of those guys. He went a lap down. He ends up finishing 4th and recovering for him, so that's a good day, good recovery for him. And Dale Jr. was probably throughout the whole day, the best car overall. He came in for gas on, I believe it was the second to last caution, along with Jeff Gordon, and Junior drove all the way up to 8th position before the race ended. Just, they were kind of unsecure about the gas. They weren't thinking there would be as many caution laps as there were, and that's why everyone else was able to make it to the finish that was on the same pit sequence as Junior was before he came into the pits. Gordon ends up finishing 19th, so that just shows how strong Junior's car was compared to his Hendrick teammate, Jeff Gordon. Jimmie Johnson's car was strong as well, obviously getting up to 4th spot in the end there, and Casey Kane had a pretty strong car until he hit the wall, and he ended up finishing 29th, snapping his 7-race top 10 streak. Points leader Greg Biffle went down a cylinder on lap 115. He ends up finishing 24th and losing his points lead. And second week in a row, Kyle Busch blows an engine. He ends up finishing 30th. In this race, clean air and track position were very important because people weren't necessarily willing to dive in and make some passes, and we saw in some instances just running alone, like that early crash with Landon Castle. He didn't really get any help, just got kind of loose, and just trying to feel out the racetrack, and he ends up wrecking and taking out some cars with him. So guys like to be out in clean air, away from all the mayhem back in the pack, and away from the traffic, I should say. And just with this, too, on every caution, it was like pit strategy shook up the front of the field in nearly every caution. And we'd see changes at the front of the field, and it was interesting to see that. Just different guys poking up at the front of the field. Jamie McMurray was there for a little bit, and he ended up making a pit call that the announcers didn't really like. And I honestly don't know why he came in, but he came in, and while he was in the lead, and ended up kind of making a poor pit call there, and he wasn't really able to get back out front, but he got back into the top 10 to finish the race, so that's still a good run for him. And there were only 7 cautions in this race. I was expecting maybe a few more. There was a whole lot of give and take, though, as I said in the pre-race video. I was expecting a lot of give and take, and that was kind of the case today until it came down to it, as we saw Joey Logano moving Mark Martin out of the way after Mark Martin made a mistake coming out of turn 3. It wasn't like Joey just shoved him up the track. Mark Martin got loose in the corner because Joey Logano was right on his bumper, and he ended up getting air loose, and then Logano made a little more contact with him because of that initial getting loose, and that slowed him down a little bit. But this is overall a huge win for Joey Logano, just because people have been saying the last few weeks, or well, I guess the last year or so, that he doesn't have what it takes to make it in the Sprint Cup Series. He's in a contract year this year. This is just a huge win for him, a statement win, and this really moves him into a good position in the points too. He's right in contention for a chase spot now since Brad Keselowski moves into the top 10. He's right behind Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman in the points. He's actually tied with Ryan Newman right now in the points. And they all have one win, so that's something that is going to be interesting to see as we move forward. Out of those guys, Joey Logano probably has the most momentum right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't score another win. He's been running fairly consistent the last few weeks, and he's had good race cars. Probably better than what I've seen throughout his whole time in the Sprint Cup Series. He's running at his best right now. Maybe it's that new crew chief for him. They seem to really gel well, and they're doing well at that 20 team this year. And this is the most confident I think I've ever seen Joey Logano. He's got something, a new strut to his step, I guess you could say. He just seems very confident this year, and that's ultimately good for a race car driver. And a lot of that could be attributed to his great success in the Nationwide Series, which he has had in the past. But I think this year it's a little more because one of the reasons that is because Kyle Busch is with his new race team, and he's just getting that established and up and going in the Nationwide Series. And Kyle Busch isn't racing the equipment from the Joe Gibbs racing shop in the Nationwide Series, so that's almost another little. That's something that helps Joey Logano in the Nationwide Series. Obviously, not having Kyle Busch and the strong equipment he's in, and it's just I don't know. Joey seems to be having a great year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the chase at this point. But yeah, anyway, Joey Logano takes first, Mark Martin second, Tony Stewart third, Jimmy Johnson with a rebound in fourth, Denny Hamlin kind of with a quiet day in fifth, Clint Boyer in sixth, Michael Waltrip Racing Cars second and sixth. Good day for them. Martin Truex Jr. got involved in that early incident, so he didn't have a great day. Matt Kenseth, who led some laps, finishes in seventh. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in eighth. Paul Menard in ninth. Good day for him. I said he was a guy to look out for to run well today, and he did. Jimmy McMurray, as I said, climbing back into the top 10. Now onto the points. Matt Kenseth, he jumps into first place. Little shake-up on the top here in the point standings. After Greg Biffle drops the cylinder, he drops back to third, 16 points behind Matt Kenseth. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in second. Denny Hamlin in fourth now. Jimmy Johnson in fifth, 30 points back. Kevin Harvick up to sixth. Martin Truex Jr. to seventh. Tony Stewart to eighth. Clint Boyer to ninth. Brad Keselowski up to 10th. And now we're in the wild card spot, kind of. Those guys are in the top 10. If the chase started today, they'd make it, along with Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman. Be a tie break because he has the same amount of points as Joey Logano at this point. But Carl Edwards doesn't have a win. He's in 11th. Kyle Busch only has one win right now in 12th. He's kind of in a downward spiral right now, but I'd expect him to turn that around at some point just because he's such a talented race car driver. Definitely, I'd expect him to get another win this season. Paul Menard with his consistent year. I don't know if he's going to get a win, but I wouldn't be surprised with his consistency if he is able to jump into that top 10 in the points, because he is only 27 points out as of now of the top 10, so I wouldn't be surprised if he makes his way into that top 10. He's up 2 spots after this week. Ryan Newman's back one. Joey Logano with the win today, up to 15th, and Casey Kane with his problems also has a win. So we have 4 guys in the top 16 right now with a win. Or, excuse me, from 12th to 16th, we have 4 of those 5 guys with a win, excluding Paul Menard. So that's really going to be interesting to look forward to. I think the exciting part of this chase format is not necessarily the guys getting into the top 10, but those guys outside of the top 10, but in front of the top 20 looking in, because it's down to the last race, really, with those guys. Who gets in, who doesn't. If you get a win in that last race for a lot of these guys, you're in, and that's why they're going for it, and they're going hard every week. And that's just something we look forward to in the Nationwide Series, the Sprint Cup Series. Looking forward to the chase. So, yeah, big win for Joey Logano. And we're moving on next week, and I'll see you guys then. Check out The Real Sports Talk. Kurt Busch's suspension video. We got some NBA Finals coverage, some wrestling coverage right now. It's all good stuff, so subscribe to the channel. If you're into that stuff, you'll get some good coverage.